Not everyone wants to let go of their assets, but for the right price, everyone is willing to trade and anyone is a trade target. Here are 10 players who might be traded this season. At number 10, it's the man who demanded a trade in the offseason. Running back for the Cleveland Browns, Kareem Hunt. Yeah, Hunt wants out and is tired of playing the Robin to Nick Chubb's Batman in the Browns' backfield. Why shouldn't he feel fed up? Kareem Hunt is an exceptional running back, and the stats help to prove it. In the last 3 seasons, he's played in 31 games and scored a total of 20 rushing and receiving touchdowns. I dare you to name one number 2 back who has his scoring ability. Hunt has a nose for the end zone, and teams have closely monitored his progress in the Nick Chubb-led offense. Now, this is ideal for the Browns since they don't want to give Hunt the contract he wants and would prefer to offload him this season. If the proper value won't be available, it's better to ship him off rather than deal with a disgruntled star. And no one knows more about falling from the sky and feeling underappreciated than Nick Foles. The backup quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts is a Super Bowl winner playing second fiddle to an over-the-hill Matt Ryan. Now, this is probably a trade made in heaven and waiting to happen. The Colts don't really need Foles, and teams in the NFL like the Lions, who are growing increasingly fed up with Jared Goff, and the Panthers, who are looking for stability in the position, are prime landing spots. Foles' track record is as good if not better than any reserve in the league. Foles will help teams find that balance and security in the quarterback position that is sorely needed, given the amount of chaos we're seeing week after week. But the tumult doesn't just spread with quarterbacks, it also infects running backs, and there's been a lot of upheaval and dysfunction surrounding the Los Angeles Rams and Cam Akers. At number 8, the third-year running back is having a season to forget, and the Rams want to erase the memory of ever having him on their roster. It's not that Cam Akers is a bad player, he's just not in the right environment. That's just a diplomatic way of saying he can't handle being the running back for the current Super Bowl champions. His head coach, Sean McVay, has openly discussed the possibility of trading him after a reported incident of the two disagreeing on the direction and identity of the Rams' run game. Suffice to say that Cam Akers is on the trading block, and the Rams would gladly take anything for him short of a point-blank robbery. One man who is stealing time and loving every minute of it is tight end Mike Gesicki. At number 7, the Miami Dolphins' big man was largely irrelevant the first 5 weeks of the season before he brought home 2 touchdowns against the Vikings. Still, Big Mike hasn't had a significant role in the offense, and he's playing on the franchise tag, meaning the Dolphins don't plan on keeping him on their books. It's time to let the big guy go to a place where all tight ends go to feel appreciation, and that is in New England. The Patriots love tight ends, and he would fit in perfectly, not just from a physical standpoint, but as a true aerial threat. Last season, Mike Gesicki had a career-high 73 receptions from 112 targets in the 9 games he started. He was a target machine, and that is exactly the type of big guy that head coach of the Patriots, Bill Belichick, likes. Still, it's doubtful that the Dolphins would trade to a team in the same division, although everyone has a price. And that price might be too expensive to pay, especially when talking about Jeudy. At number 6, the wide receiver for the Broncos has been inconsistent so far this season. Apart from week 1, where he had 102 receiving yards and 1 touchdown, Jeudy had a major drop-off in production. It's depressing to read, especially from a player who shows great promise. He hasn't had a 100-yard game in the 6 weeks that followed, and only scored 1 other touchdown. The Broncos are seeing Jeudy's progression, looking at his age and their available draft picks for the 2023 NFL Draft, which they have only 5, and are thinking that this might be a good opportunity to offload the young wide receiver. There is a shortage of young and talented wide receivers in the NFL, and the Broncos could exploit the market by dangling Jeudy to hungry general managers. But of course, Jeudy won't go on the cheap. Another player who certainly won't go on the cheap is star running back for the Las Vegas Raiders. Josh Jacobs comes in at number 5, and before the Raiders fan base sends their furious rage upon us, this is a good thing. Jacobs is performing out of his skin lately, scoring 6 touchdowns in the last 3 games and rushing for over 140 yards per game in that same span. So why would you trade Josh Jacobs? Because he's a valuable asset in which you can get more assets and turn this team into one that is winning. There's also the money issue by which the Raiders chose not to pick up Jacobs' fifth-year option and would have to pay him a hefty amount given the running back surge in performance. The smart move for the Raiders would be to get a pick and clear up some cap space for 2023, because realistically, they won't be making the playoffs. And the fair and right thing to do is for the Steelers to trade away Mitch Trubisky. At number 4, the quarterback just lost his job to a rookie and is now hanging around waiting for the next opportunity. But why should he wait with the same team that yanked him off the field? Trubisky is a good quarterback who got a raw deal by being the poster child for Matt Nagy's putrid Bears offense. The main reason for the pulling of Trubisky was because the Steelers fan base incessantly called for the hometown rookie quarterback to have the big seat. It wasn't just because he threw 2 interceptions in 5 games. It wasn't because he only scored 3 passing touchdowns in 5 games. It was because he wasn't the popular choice. Fans dictated his drop, and so the Steelers organization should do the right thing. By trading Trubisky, and for their efforts, they'll get a nifty draft pick. As we mentioned earlier, good, dependable, and productive quarterbacks are hard to find. Another player that's hard to find is Antonio Gibson. At number 3, the Washington Commanders running back lost a starting job and should also be seeking a new home to apply his trade. Gibson has fallen out of favor with head coach Ron Rivera and shouldn't have to suffer the hardship of being relegated to the bench. He's a great runner and also a good pass catcher. What he does lack is confidence. There have been times when Gibson has fumbled the ball, resulting in a drop of confidence in his awesome ability. Last season, he rushed for over 1,000 yards. For his career, he has a total of 24 touchdowns from just 3 seasons. There is great value in this running back, and teams who wish to upgrade, like the Carolina Panthers, who recently lost their star running back, should be at the front of the line waiting to snap him up. But before they do, they should take a look at this running back from the Chicago Bears. At number 2, it's David Montgomery. Montgomery is in the final year of his rookie contract and has the potential to be moved in the hopes of acquiring draft capital and potentially some player assets. He's the most reliable offensive player on the Bears and certainly the most feared. If any team should be going after a running back, they should first check out Montgomery. He has consistently overperformed in bad offenses. Last season in the Nagy era, he had 849 yards and 7 touchdowns. This season, 246 yards, and is on pace to eclipse the yardage he had this season. The Bears aren't going to make the playoffs, and they have a more decent backup in Khalil Herbert that they could use in the draft picks. It's just as simple as that. What's not simple is the situation with the number 1 player who should be signed, and that is Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ is a free agent recovering from an ACL injury and has everyone wondering where he wants to play. There's speculation he would ditch the Rams, with whom he won a Super Bowl with, and sign with either the Packers or the Vikings. The situation is so murky because OBJ is holding all the cards. One thing is for sure, Beckham Jr. will reveal his destination once he is healthy and ready to be a valued asset to his preferred team. So who do you think should be traded this season? And to which team? Please let us know in the comments below, but before you go, if you still want to watch awesome NFL content like this, go ahead and watch that next video that will pop on your screen.